Yes, how's everyone doing? Everyone well? Do not let my cardigan fool you. I grew up in the hood. I did grow up in the hood. The problem is, I didn't realize I grew up in the hood until I left the hood. And I was like, oh shit, I grew up deprived. This is a different life. I realized I grew up in the hood when I left and I stopped hearing police sirens after 10 p.m., you know. I realized I grew up in the hood when I looked at the sky at night and I actually saw stars for once. I realized I was growing up in the hood when I moved out and stopped smelling weed at 3 p.m., you know, and started smelling cocaine instead. It was a different sort of life. But I grew up in a nice hood. It was the hood because growing up, it was common to see kids getting robbed, you know. But it was a nice hood because for me, it was mainly the white kids getting robbed. I'm not gonna lie, I was safe. But it weren't all the white kids, I'm gonna be honest. It was only the middle class white kids because, you know, the gangsters in... Come on, shout out my geezers at the back, man. Shout out my Millwall fans. But anyway, my point is, it's like... As I said, the gangsters in my area, they were class conscious. So they could smell the difference between the kids that grew up in houses and the kids that grew up with mold in their house. You know, it was a different life, man. I've been thinking a lot about, believe it or not, this cardigan makes me think, you know. And I've been thinking about, every time I put it on, I think about the far right. Do you know what, like, believe it or not, I actually don't hate the far right. I find them kind of amusing, you know. I find them quite amusing. I find the far right amusing. I love when the far right say these immigrants are coming over and stealing our jobs. Because we know it's not true. And I learned that from my mum. When I speak to my mum comes from West Africa, Ghana. She said, son, I didn't come here. Well, we got Ghanaians in the house. If you're Ghanaian, why you called Paris? What kind of life is... Anyway, it's all right. Anyway, Paris, hold on, man. Let me finish about the far right. So I like the far right, man. As I said, my mum said, son, I didn't come here to steal white people's jobs, you know. I came here to take the jobs white people don't want. And I know that's true. I know that is true because growing up in England, and all the white people I've surrounded by, all my years growing up, I've never heard a white person say when they grow up, they want to be a parking attendant, you know? I've never heard that in my life. 20 plus years in England, I've seen 3 white parking attendants. And they weren't even English, they were Irish, so it's clearly a black man's job, you know? Similar to the far right, when I wear this cardigan, I think of racist people, you know? And like, I like racist people because to me they're funny. I love how the fact that racist people have zero self-awareness, you know. I remember I used to work in a restaurant and we used to have this old regular coming. Nice guy, racist, but nice guy, you know. He was... I know he was racist because he used to confuse me and my colleague Jerome. Now understand something, like... Me and Jerome, we were both black, but we look nothing alike. I'm 6'4" with short hair. Jerome was 5'9" with dreadlocks. Me and this brother looked nothing alike. One time, this old guy walks into the restaurant. He sees me. He says, "How you doing, Jerome?" I'm like, "How you doing, boss?" But it's Kobi. He's like, "Don't worry. All you guys look the same anyway. It's fine." I'm like, I'm not gonna lie. I was offended, you know. But I wouldn't have been so offended if this guy wasn't Chinese, you know. So it's like. He wasn't Chinese, he was Vietnamese, but you know, like... have you guys heard of the song Kung Fu Fighting? Everybody was Kung Fu fighting. Yeah. Do you know I recently found out the guy that made that song was black? On top of that, he wasn't only black, this guy was black and British. Did you guys know that? To make things worse, he was black and British, but he was born in Jamaica. Now, understand something. I went to do some research, yeah? And after extensive research, I found out that this guy is not trained in any martial art. Nor has this brother spent significant time in Asia. So I say all of that to say this. Where the hell did this guy get the inspiration to write Kung Fu Fighting? This brother was a fraud because nobody was Kung Fu fighting in Brixton. You understand? Them lot, they're fighting with knives in Brixton. That's how they're living, fam. I know there's a lot of black people in the room. Have you guys heard of the term soft parenting? Yeah. For those of you that don't know, soft parenting is the idea that you can raise your kids with like calm and being nice and not being too punitive. Now, I'm not saying I disagree with soft parenting, but what I am saying is I don't know anyone successful that was raised soft. You understand me? Oh, you got...